gents, how are you doing? Let's get this a bit closer. Right, how are you? Welcome to the BBC Spews Live once again. Your favourite time of the day. What's it? The 21st of June. Welcome to the show. I noticed, you'll notice my nose matches my shirt down today, but it's not because I'm a pisshead. For those of you that mentioned it yesterday, it's because I grabbed what I thought was a nice new piece of showering material. And I went, oh, look, what's this? Must be some fancy exfoliating pad. And I grabbed it and went, and then turns out it was what my wife uses to bleach the fucking tiles when she's cleaned it up. So, yeah, that's good, isn't it? Winner. Also, I will say, I mean, obviously, it's a bit stupid to just grab things and fucking wing it. But sort of depressing as well, because I do know for a fact that if I was 20, it wouldn't have left a mark. It's going to sound weird to everybody under the age of, 40? But your skin gets thinner when you get older. It's sort of weird. Like I've twisted my ankle or something when I'm running now and I get a big, massive bruise. And I know for a fact that when I was 20, I wouldn't have got a bruise at all. It's extremely depressing. You basically become weak, slowly but surely. Hello from Fareham. You know, off the top of my head, Steve, I don't even know where Fareham is. Where's Fareham? I'll Google it out of morbid curiosity. I always like to, improve my knowledge every day. Fareham is, Portsmouth. I didn't spend much time in Portsmouth. Plymouth, yeah. Guz, not Pompey. I spent quite a bit of time in Poole. Obviously was based in Plymouth for years, but I never spent much time in Portsmouth. The only time I remember going to Portsmouth was when I was a young lad and we went to the Isle of Wight. My dad took me one year, went down to Portsmouth. Richard, I'm talking about literal thin skin rather than being upset easily. If you've been watching the Bootneck for any time at all, you'll probably realise it's quite difficult to upset. And unfortunately your hair gets thinner as well. But everybody knows that. Everybody's got a mate who goes bald when he's fucking 23. My cousin Lee went bald proper young. Like, it was weird because I used to hang around with him when we were teenagers and, had a normal head of hair. And then I didn't see him for about 3 years. And he walked in the room and I went, fuck me. He was the spitting double of our granddad. And we used to call our granddad Bucknut Fred because he was bald his entire life, like ever since I knew him. And obviously his son used to call him Bucknut as well because he was bald from like an early age. And unfortunately, he got that hereditary one. Me, despite the fact it's getting thinner, I'm not doing too bad for 42, am I? All right, David, no need to fucking rub it in. No need to rub it in. Mark Thompson, glad I'm not bald. Fucking hell. Mark needs a new mirror. if that's your profile picture, Mark, your eyes are fucked as well as your head. Right. That's enough insulting the chat. That's enough. I'm the Bootneck. You all like to have a pop yourselves. Let's do some news, shall we? I wanted to bring the Uvalde shooting up because new evidence has been put up today on the BBC. And I want to talk about it because it's obviously a subject that I've elucidated upon many, many times. A couple of years ago, I made a standalone video. I believe it was called Are We Hiring Coppers or Whoppers? Is that the name? Out of curiosity, I'll Google it. If you haven't watched it, you can go back and see me being prophetic. Let's have a look. It won't show up, will it? Because fucking Susan. Let's have a look. Yeah, there we go. Is the Met hiring coppers or whoppers? There it is. Shows up for a change. You wouldn't expect that. But basically, I haven't even seen this one for ages. Let's have a quick look. My sound quality's got better, hasn't it? Hello, folks. How's it going? Straight into it. Boris is... Yeah, that sounds awful. It's almost like I've got more professional. However, I'm not professional. I still don't write anything or to employ anyone to do anything for me. But basically, the point I made in this video was hiring massive amounts of coppers in a short period of time affects the quality of the copper you're hiring. They also did that, launched a campaign for the workforce to be 50% women Mega clever when you're doing a physical job, isn't it? Nobody's claimed that you shouldn't have policewomen. Of course you should. Women are better than men at some things. Far more emotionally intelligent. Alan's a long-term listener. It was Matt, you remember it well. You've got a better memory than me, Alan. Women are more emotionally intelligent than men. Of course, women have a role to play in the police department. Centrist, reasonable chaps like me will always advocate like-minded women being in the police force, and they make good. I'm a little bit sexist in that I observe reality and report it accurately, which means I say things like women aren't as good at punching people in the face as men. Funny old thing. So if that makes me sexist, yeah, I'm a little bit, but I would dispute it because I do have a lot of female listeners, and I don't think any of them would be sticking around if I was a fucking arsehole. Do you? Rotten Politics is in. I haven't seen you for a while, mate. I'm glad you're still about. Actually, I haven't seen many of your videos for a week or two. As Susan, I got you by the plums again. I hope not. So basically, women should be in the police force. Of course they should, but in a smaller number. I would assume the intelligence professionals that are employed by the state could look at it and come up with a sensible number and say, reasonably, we probably should be having about 20-25% of the police force be women, where we can utilize their skills, their emotional intelligence, their cold reason in many ways. But ultimately, when the police force's real frontline role is to prevent and tackle dangerous criminals, of which, and here's the rub for all you going, oh my God, sexist, here's the rub, check the numbers. The overwhelming majority of criminals are hairy-ass blokes. And if you're in London, hairy-ass blokes of a particular persuasion. Shall we just say swarthy? But I don't want to go out that route. So let's just stop before we get banned. All I'll say is the numbers prove that the vast majority of criminals are male. So therefore, the majority of police officers should be male because of that sexual dimorphism, which unfortunately our species is cursed with if you're a militant feminist. And women aren't very fast and aren't very strong. And that's just a fact. And if anybody wants to call me out on that, feel free to send this video to fucking Ronda Rousey, and I'll twat her as well. I had a big argument with a bloke, right, years ago. Again, Bootneck's always right. Bootneck's always right. I had an argument with a bloke. It was when I moved out here. So it must have been 8 years ago. I had an argument with a bloke at a house party, right? I went around, it was a friend of my missus, had a lot of people over, and there was a bloke there. And he was one of these MMA bros who you can tell is weak as piss. I mean, have you seen the average bloke wearing a fucking tap out t-shirt? Have you seen that merchandise they all wear in America? Tap out. It's like branded MMA merchandise. You know for a fact when you see a bloke with a tap out t-shirt, he just couldn't knock the skin off a fucking rice pudding. Like I've always said, the blokes who are actually in the SBS don't walk around telling everyone they're in the SBS. The blokes who have actually done something in the military, like me, for example, there's just pulling one off out of the wind there. I don't walk around all the time in a fucking t-shirt that says "Veteran, thank you for your service, Billy Big Bollocks." This looks military, but it's not. This is like a t-shirt I got, a free t-shirt from my last from an aerospace company I work for, and I'm tight and I don't want to buy any more clothes than I need to. So I wear these all the time. You probably noticed from the streams I've got two grey ones, two red ones, and two purple ones, and I basically wear them all the time because they're comfy and I'm tight. People who've actually got something about them don't feel the need to advertise it all the time. So when you see a bloke in a fucking tap-out t-shirt, the first thing I think is I could fold you up in about half a second. And this bloke was gobbing off, telling me that Ronda Rousey, because he's obviously a woke soy boy, started telling me that Oh no, Rotten Politics has got some tap out shorts. Right, okay, well, I will rephrase it because I don't want to upset Rotten Politics. I've got a soft spot for him. If you get them for $4.99 from Sports Direct, it's acceptable to wear. So, and shorts aren't as bad. They're not advertising either. If you got them on the cheap, you can wear a pair of shorts. But in general, wankers that wear Billy Big Bollocks, Armored Bruce Lee t-shirts can't fucking fight. And this bloke was gobbing off at me, telling me that Ronda Rousey could easily beat Floyd Mayweather in a boxing match. And I had a massive argument with him. And I was like, don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're fucking talking about. I was like, not only would Ronda Rousey lose a boxing match against any competent professional boxer. I said, if you can find me a professional boxer who's had more than 10 fights and won fucking 8 of them, they'd beat Ronda Rousey in a boxing match easily. And I was like, and you're not just picking any random boxer. You're picking a boxer who has mastered the art. Bootneck loves boxing. He knows loads about boxing, and he never talks about boxing because he's not a fucking wanker who thinks he's fucking Billy Big Bollocks. But I like boxing. I like it a lot. And Mayweather, if anyone cares, because this isn't a sports channel, is probably the best boxer of the last fucking 30 years when it comes to boxing, i.e., he never gets fucking punched. He basically invented this sort of weird boxing technique where he hides behind one shoulder and he just never gets fucking punched. And it's not entertaining to watch. So I don't like Floyd Mayweather and I don't find his fights entertaining. I like brawlers who lead with a fucking face. Ricky Hatton was brilliant. He used to just walk into punches. Carl Froch was absolutely class. Fantastic to watch. But Mayweather is one of the best boxers of the last fucking 30 years. And this bloke wasn't even just picking a random male boxer. He was picking the best of the fucking best. And I was like, you haven't got a clue what you're talking about. Any male boxer would punch fuck out of Ronda Rousey. It wouldn't even last a minute. Ricky Hatton, just a good, middling, journeyman boxer. He'd kick the fucking shite out of her. And we had this big argument. And sure enough, a couple of years later, she fights a female who is merely the preacher's daughter, who's known as quite a good boxer. And she punched her fucking face in. Jabbed her face off. I don't really watch much MMA, but I did watch that because I remembered my argument with this fucking moron. And she got her face jabbed off. It was embarrassing. And to add insult to injury, to make me even more right, not only did she get her face punched off, she then proved how mentally she was lacking. So she was physically outclassed. And then she had a total mental breakdown. And went all weird. And I was like, I can't fight anymore. Okay, I've got PTSD. So basically, all that shit he was coming out with was proven to be completely wrong. And then I messaged him on Facebook. I hardly know the bloke, but I'm such a prick. I messaged him on Facebook and was like, oh yeah, she'd definitely punch fuck out of the best male boxer from the last 30 years, wouldn't she? Blocked. And yeah, that was that. Never really got a reply. But yeah, what a wanker. So just went off on a tangent. I like to do that. So this shit here that I made is the Hiring Coppers or Whoppers. Watch it if you want. It's an old one. It is vintage Bootneck, complete with terrible audio. But there you go. You can have a watch if you like. So this story interested me because what's happened to the police force? I'm not even talking specifically about gender here now. I'm talking about the general hiring practices for the fucking police department. And what's happened is, because of the complete destruction of the meritocracy, we don't live in a meritocracy anymore. Just accept it. And this is what I've been telling you a lot for years. This is when you start circling the drain. When you don't live in a meritocracy anymore, slowly but surely, everything collapses. We've spent the last 10 years totally destroying the idea of a meritocracy, attacking it at its very core. Because we say You have to have all these hiring practices. The HR managers will tell you who you're hiring. And they're not just going, who's the best person for the job? They're going, that 6'2" ex-commando would be a good copper. And then it got overruled. And someone says, yeah, but that 6'2" ex-commando, he isn't a black disabled lesbian. He isn't Stephen Hawking with tits. We can't give him the fucking job. He doesn't have the right religion. He isn't dancing in the gay pride parade. He doesn't stuff his truncheon up his ring piece and fucking disco dance down the fucking high street with a bald mask on. He wouldn't be a good copper. None of that's related to enforcing the law. So the police are totally wrecked. And as I correctly said 2 years ago, this type of shit was bound to happen. It was bound to happen. Look at this. 58 minutes hanging around, shitting the pants. First images show armed police waiting in a corridor during last month's school shooting. Police arrived earlier in the attack and with more firepower than previously reported, holding rifles and riot shields, but shitting their pants. I mean, they are properly tooled up there. Shitting the pants. Police have been accused of failing to act quickly enough to stop the attack, which left 21 people dead. Salvador Ramos was the shooter, so they weren't happy about that. They wanted him to be called fucking Angus McTatty and be a pasty ginger, so they're not happy about that. But the gunman entered the school at 11:33 local time. 11 police officers arrived within 3 minutes. So you're like, wow, great response time there. And then they did fuck all. 11 coppers arrived within 3 minutes, and they didn't enter the classroom where the gunman was until 12:50. What were they doing for 58 minutes? I could have had 3 cups of tea and pulled myself off twice in that time. If I was 20, I could have pulled myself off fucking 18 times. But you need a lot of time to rejuvenate your baby gravy when you get past 40. Your testosterone goes out the window, boys. An hour. A fucking hour. And the police didn't even shoot him in the end. It says he was shot at by members of the US Border Patrol Tactical Unit. So the coppers just basically stood back for an hour and then sort of went, what we'll do is we'll start clearing rooms where he isn't. And we'll hope somebody else will deal with the problem. Let me tell you, if that was 11 bootnecks at the scene, they'd have been in that fucking classroom in about 30 seconds. Because they're trained with such rigor that at the end of it, the confidence is sky high. The police, they ain't that. I was laughing at a video I watched on Facebook yesterday because I was amazed at how the standards for the Corps haven't dropped that much. The initial entry standards. I was watching a potential Royal Marines course video, and that's not even, you're not even in. That's when you're a civvy and you go down there and get thrashed for a week before you can join. And I was pleased to see the standards were still the same. I was also pleased to see my mate Ginge Merriman, who was obviously just a Marine when I was serving with him at 40 Commando. He seems to be the head PTI at Limson now. I haven't talked to him for years. And he was there, with the crown on his chest, beasting all the recruits. But it was going through the standards, and they're still the same. It was like, this is just to get the top marks on your PRMC, and they were telling them what you should be aiming for. 16 pull-ups. 16. In the United States, the fucking Navy SEALs don't even have to do 16 pull-ups. I think I was reading on their website when I was looking up out of interest. It's expected to do like 7 or 8 or something. It was like, for your PRMC, you're expected to do. It didn't say, if you do this, we think you're fucking great. It was like, you're expected to do 16 pull-ups, run 1.5 miles in 11 minutes with boots on, 60 push-ups, 80 sit-ups. It was like pretty hardcore, and I was sitting watching it going, yeah, that's good. They've still got these standards. The police is... I'm always getting this wrong. You put that way. Put that way. Yeah. The police, these assholes, Fucking useless. Pathetic. Pathetic. That pot-bellied fucking loser there and his mate, all the gear, no idea, are a disgrace to the uniform. But it's only 50% their fault. Like I keep telling you lot, because I'm a man who likes to face the mirror and accept the punches square in the face. This is our fault as well. It's not just the police. It's 50% the wanker coppers and 50% lies squarely on the shoulders of us, the general public. Because we accept it. Because the normies don't read newspapers or care about reality. And they're more interested talking about Boy George's fucking sex slave than they are in discussing the important, rigorous facts of the day, which is the people that are paid to protect and serve us are about as much use as a nun's tits. That's what the problem is. So it's half our fault. We, look at that, 1.5 mile, is it 10:30? It was 10:30 for the BFT when you're a serving Marine, right? But it's 11 for your PRMC. It's a little bit easier. Don't tell me the fucking Paras is faster than the Marine ones, because it isn't. I'm pretty certain it's the same for everybody in the fighting units, isn't it? I'm sure it was, I can't remember exactly what it was when I was in the car now. I'm sure your bog standard BFT, we had to do an ACFT as well, not a ship, but I'm sure it was a mile and a half. It was a booted run. Obviously, you never do anything in trainers. It was a mile and a half, and I think it was 12 and a half minutes as a squad, and then like 10 minutes as a fucking individual or something. But anyways, decent standards for civilians, that. 16 pull-ups, 80 push-ups, 80 sit-ups, mile and a half in 11 minutes. Good standards for them. The coppers, I actually covered it in that video I made. I think, oh yeah, and you have to do the bleep test to level 13 on your PRMC. The coppers bleep test requirements is somewhat like 8. Like, watch that video I shared. I'm sure I covered it in there. It was mentioned in the story. The bleep test for the coppers is like 8.2 or something. I could do 8.2 on my fucking hands. If you just tipped Stephen Hawking out of his wheelchair and went, go on, you cunt, he could probably get to the line faster than one of these little fat, roly-poly female dwarves that we currently have walking around with a tit helmet on. Oh, no, in fact, they got rid of the tit helmets, didn't they? Because they're a bit uncomfortable. Oh, they don't sit well on my Rastafarian fucking dreadlocks, so everyone has to wear a bastard beanie. I mean, there are no standards in the police at all. Oh, yeah, definitely. But when you're a kid, you're fast, aren't you? Me and my mates were little vandals when we were kids, and we got chased by the police dozens of times. And I never, ever, ever once got caught by a copper. I don't think they ever even attempted to chase us because they just knew, didn't they? But you are fast when you're a kid, so that's a bit... I'm not having a go at them for not being able to catch 14-year-olds, but what I'm saying is the standards in the police are shockingly, shockingly bad. The standards in the modern military, barring the Royal Marines apparently, are shockingly bad. My missus sent me a story about the female US Marines unable... In fact, I'm going to Google that. Let's just do that out of interest. You like it when I go on a tangent, don't you? Have a look. There it is. Look at that. That's a new one, isn't it? June 22nd. Motherfuckers, ad blocker. Hang on. Do me head in. Everyone's got adverts now, haven't they? Disabled on this site. Okay, there we go. I can show it now. Nice one. Yeah, look at this. Oh, and now it's a paywall. 2 months for $2. Fuck off. Right, I'll tell you what. You'll just have to look at the Google page instead. In the last 5 months, so this was 2016. 6 out of 7. Can you see that? I know it's a bit further out on the page. 86% of women fail Marines combat jobs test. That was 6 out of 7 female recruits, and about 40 out of about 1,500 men failed to pass the new regime of pull-ups, ammunition can lifts, a 3-mile run. And then there's that one that Marines back off pull-up requirement for women after many failed. The standards are pathetic, and they still failed them all. It was after more than half a year of last year's I remember this. They gave them 6 months to prepare for it. It said after more than half of last year's female Marine recruits were unable to do 3 pull-ups. 3. 3 pull-ups. I bet you Blue Van Man can do 3 pull-ups. I bet you, Blue Van Man, you can do 3 pull-ups, can't you? You visit Chippies for a job and you can do 3 pull-ups easy. I guarantee. He's a big fella, got a lot of body to haul around. He'll be able to do 3 pull-ups. Fucking 3 pull-ups for Marines, the few, the proud, the few, the 3 pull-ups. My missus can do fucking 10. And she's a civvy. So this is it. Even the military's pathetic now. The military's pathetic. So what do you think the police? What do you think the police is like? The police are a joke. You hate. What? That is shocking, that, isn't it? They had to back off. They had to change. Look at that. You see that woman in the background there? Look. See that woman there? You see that chick there? This lady. That is the face of pure regret and misery. She's just looking at that bar going, nah. I'm not going to pull this saggy frame over that bar 3 times. It's impossible. 3. It's pathetic. The bleep test is now called the bleep test. Yeah, what they have to do is they should rename it and call it the Ben and Jerry's test. And you have to all stand in a line with a pint of Ben and Jerry's, and you've got to eat it in under 90 seconds. Diane Abbott's like, more pints. She could do an entire freezer full of the cunts. She'd be like 3-star general. You know, everyone else is like that with a spoon. Abba's is just like Popeye when he's doing his spinach. Just rip the lid off, bosh, it's gone straight down there. Supreme Leader, we salute you. That's the only way you're going to get the military passing the tests, if we just change all the fucking tests. So, yeah, brilliant. I love that. Pathetic. So back to this story. These losers, completely pathetic. Waited in the corridor for an hour. Unbelievable. What a bunch of wankers. And that's all I've got to say on it. You can watch that video if you want to go for a blast from the past. I've been saying it for 2 years. I take no pleasure in being right this time. Oh, no, that's a lie. I do. I'd be lying. I take pleasure in being right all the time. And I've been saying it for years. And I'll keep saying it. And as long as Owen Jones and Afua Hirsch and Laurie Penny and everybody at the BBC keep being wrong and I keep being right, I'll have a fatty on as the world burns around us. I'm not a sentimental chap. I don't get weepy and upset about it. I just fucking laugh. Not trying to be a prick about it. I'm just not going to lie to you about it. It's like, I don't know these people. I don't know any. Let's be honest about humans, right? I know some woke cunt will see this and go, oh my God, he's a monster. I'm not. I'm a normal person with a fully functioning brain and the ability to feel pleasure and pain and sadness and joy. But don't pretend you're absolutely devastated when perfect strangers get killed. Can we just have that one said? Humans care about the people they've associated with. If it's a mate from the pub and you only see him once in a blue moon and they die, you're sad. You go, oh, that's a fucking shame. He was a good lad. If it's your best mate you see loads of, you're gutted. And if it's like a really close friend or family member, you're fucking devastated. That's how grief works. And if you're on Twitter going, the amount of people on Twitter, whenever there's a tragedy going, literally tears streaming down my face as I type this. Bullshit. If there's literally tears streaming down your face as you type about the death of perfect strangers, you're either mentally ill, extremely emotionally incontinent, probably more emotionally incontinent than 95% of society, or you're a fucking liar. There aren't tears streaming down your face, so don't call me an horrible bastard. I'm just being realistic. Also, you need people to be realistic to make... People like me need to be in charge, basically, right? Because you need to be detached from the emotion and do what's right and what's needed. Probably difficult for Winston Churchill to send 20,000 blokes to Zeebrugge, knowing that lots of them were going to get machine gunned, but you need to make the tough decisions. And maybe that's what's really wrong with our society, is that we're more interested in the platitudes of people that are pretending to care than we are in electing people that will make the tough decisions. I don't want Boris Johnson to tell me that he cries when he reads about babies dying in Africa. I want Boris Johnson to make the hard decisions that would improve the lot for everybody in the country he was elected to work in. Because as I've said, it's sad when people die anywhere. It is, because we all have empathy. It's sad when a stranger dies in the fact that you go, that could be a friend of mine, that. Like, oh, that's a shame. But that's it. You don't sit there bawling your eyes out. If you bawled your eyes out every time a perfect stranger died, well, we live in the digital age and everybody fucking is constantly connected. And every single day you turn on the news, someone has died in some grotesque manner or of some foul malady that causes your fucking eyeballs to bleed. You would be an emotional wreck. You can't be like that. You've got to be a realist and you've got to get with the program and you've got to make tough decisions. And maybe that's why we're all in the shit, because we just want to sit here crying about perfect strangers in foreign countries all the fucking time. All right, so Bootneck's a bit of a prick. If you think so, well, join the fucking queue. Get behind Suza and everybody that works in Silicon Valley to poke me with sharp sticks. What else have we got? Macron rejects Prime Minister's offer to resign. Well, he could have done the world a fucking favour, couldn't he? Oh, what's this? X Factor star's fiance dies on wedding day. Don't know who any of these people are. However, how old was the fucker and what did he have? Oh, there. See, this is interesting. Yet another young person. Look at that. She was only 34. Yet another 34-year-old randomly dying with no prior illnesses. Weird, that, isn't it? Was that commonplace? Was it 34-year-old healthy mothers just keeling over and fucking carking it on the dance floor of the wedding? Was that common in the banging day? I wonder what caused that. Yes, it is a shame, Patrick. It fucking is. It's a shame. Shame when you see the picture as well. Bonnie lass. Young. It's fucking shame. It's not cry my fucking eyes out like it's my mother's just died, but it is a shame. I wonder what caused that then, eh? Weird. The cause of death has not been revealed. Why wouldn't they really reveal the cause of death? You know what's interesting? Again, it's weird how might makes right in reality, but might via the medium of numbers makes right in the real world. Because I'll tell you something that fascinates me. I literally have to call it there. I can't talk about hypotheses as to why she dropped dead. And I can't even postulate as to any other reason that may have caused it. Because we all know that the second I start talking about fucking Jabba the Hutt, that's a good way of getting around it. That's, you know, like Bell End churches or the religion of pieces. That's a good one. Jabby the Hutt. We'll use that. If I even attempt to talk about Jabby the Hutt, we know where I'll fucking end up. But it is weird how Mark Stein, again, if you don't watch Mark Stein every day, one of the reasons I always do this at 7 instead of 8 is so I can go and watch Mark Stein, because I think he's fucking brilliant. So if you watch me, go and watch a master of the art of off-the-cuff news commentary, because he is superb. And I'd love for everybody to subscribe to GB News, pump some ad revenue in the coffers, and help them out, because he is superb. But when it gets to 12 o'clock, go and watch 12 o'clock here, 8 o'clock, go and watch Mark Stein, because he's class. But yeah, the point is, it's weird how he can talk about it because he's got a big platform. Nobody else can. He's brilliant, and he quite rightly draws attention to an ailment, a predicament we find ourselves in, that seems to be killing off young people. But it's weird how he can get away with it, because I fucking can't. I've been banned. How many times have I been banned now? Like 5 times now, 4 or 5. I've been doing this for 2.5 years. So that's not terrible. I've had 4 or 5 bans. But one of them was for literally just sharing a Time magazine article about the election and going, look at this. It appears to be woke cunts gloating, and they banned me instantly. It was like, how dare you talk about the election? You're not allowed. Jabby the Hutt, not allowed to talk about it. Grooming gangs. Yeah, he does that one as well. If I went anywhere near that fucking subject, Suza would not just ban my channel, she would come round my house, bend me over my fucking couch, and roger me with my wife's favourite fucking vase. I nearly said vase then. I've been in America too long. Vase. She'd be plunging into me with a fucking vase. So yeah, weird that, innit? All right, we'll do one more story, seeing as I've rambled a lot today. What do we do? I'll tell you what, we'll take requests. Has anybody in the chat got something of today's news that you'd like me to give you my forthright, intellectual, and totally reasonable and well-considered opinion on, even though I might not have heard of it? Send her out to mine. No. But yeah, Mark Stein, go watch him. 8 o'clock, GB News. Like it, share it. Those guys do some fucking great work. They're the only news channel in Britain who are actually attempting to be impartial. And they are impartial because they actually do have lefty arseholes on all the time. It's weird how they're getting smeared as being far right when every time I turn on, they've got that Benjamin Butterworth or some fucking cringing lefty handringer. US Navy pronoun vid. That sounds interesting. Shall I Google that? We'll see what that is. I've never even heard that. US Navy pronoun vid. Let's have a look. I love shit like that. I always laugh when I see this. Leaked US Navy pronoun training video. Here's how the Navy is turning sailors on. All right, let's have a look. It's on freebeacon.com. Here's how the Navy is training sailors on proper gender pronouns. Oh, I'm going to love this. I'm going to love this. I can tell already. Just get the whole page on. First things first. Fucking Conchi. Why has nobody got a normal name anymore? You knew they wouldn't be called fucking Dave, didn't you? Yeah. Conchi.
Hi, my name is Johnny, and I use he, him pronouns.
Hi, and I'm Conchi, and I use she, her.
And we're here.
And even the one who's got a relatively normal name, they spell it like Jelly Brains writing it in crayon. Johnny. Jony. That looks a lot like Joni to me. So anyway, brilliant that, innit? Brilliant.
And I use he, him pronouns.
Hi, and I'm Conchi, and I use she, her pronouns.
And we're here to talk about pronouns.
What is a pronoun? A pronoun is how we identify ourselves apart from our name, and it's also how people refer to us in conversations.
Using the right pronouns is a really simple way to affirm someone's identity.
I'm gonna stare at that guy. You know, he looks a bit like the fucking. Look at me. I am the captain now. He looks like that guy, doesn't he? A fucking scrawny bag of bones with a light bulb head. Don't tell me he's in the Navy, surely. Are these civilians? There must be. Must be civilians. And look at the sign in the background. Again, if this is aimed at the Navy, why is everybody on the graphic in the background? Why is there no white men there? There's just random foreign women, a bird with an afro, 2 pensioners, a short-haired bull dyke, and a Sikh. It's mad, isn't it? Mad. Nothing about modern advertising is accurate in the real world, is it? You know what your average sailor looks like? It's a fucking white bloke or a black bloke, typically male, because the military is like 80% male. Definitely under the age of fucking 40. So what's with all the grey beards in the background? And typically doesn't have a big afro and a big massive pair of hoop earrings because you're a sailor and there's uniform requirements. You're not a fucking jazz singer. Anyway, let's carry on.
Or hey team.
Yeah, and now that you say that, another way that we could show that we're allies and that we accept everybody is to maybe include our pronouns in our emails.
We accept everybody and then we bomb the shit out of them. What do you mean we accept everybody? Your job when you're in the military is to do extreme violence on the behalf of the state. I don't want to be told I have to accept anybody. We got to accept everybody and then we kill them with extreme prejudice. We say, I accept you, Mr. Taliban, and then we drop $2 billion worth of ordnance, tank busters and fucking bunker busting bombs and scatter them across the battlefield. What a load of bollocks. We accept everybody and then we kill them.
Or, like we just did, introduce ourselves using our pronouns.
But what would I do if I misgender someone?
Nothing. Let's get on with it. Get on with it. How about we start teaching people who have a bit of a backbone? We've all been insulted. It's happened to me loads of times. They haven't misgendered me, but they might inadvertently offend me in some manner, get my name wrong. Someone goes, Dave, sorry, Matt, that's it. You know, when you first meet someone, well, that's the same, isn't it? You've got someone's name wrong. Do you fucking flip out and just get on with your day? If I was a trans and I identified as her, and someone went, him over there, I wouldn't go, fucking hell, fuck me backwards. Yeah. Especially if I was a sailor. I'd be more worried about an exocet missile hitting the side of the boat and giving me a crispy, deep fried face like poor old fucking Simon Weston. I'd be more concerned about that. Having a face like fucking Frazzles concerns me a lot more than getting misgendered. Thanks. Maybe worry about doing your fucking job, sailor. How about that?
I think the first thing to recognize is that it's not the end of the world.
Oh, fuck me. There's some common sense from the woman there. It's not the end of the world. That's the first thing that they've said. Well, I think, yeah, that's suitable for a fucking Navy recruitment video. Not the end of the world. No. Getting scuttled by a U-boat is the end of the world.
You correct yourself and move on, or you accept the correction and move on. The most important thing I can tell you is do not put the burden of making you feel good about your mistake on the person that you just misgendered.
Oh, thank you for telling me that.
Yeah, and another tip for you to remember their pronoun next time, it's in your mind. Kind of go through a progression of 3 good things about the person using their pronoun. So let's say the person chooses to use they, then you will in your mind go, they have a nice shirt. They have a nice smile.
You know what the problem with this is? I mean, ultimately, all woke ideology is pure idealistic nonsense, isn't it? It's like Disney making a Buzz Lightyear film, right? With ravers all over it. I seen a comment on Facebook by some woke, what's a polite way? Cunt, saying it's brilliant that Disney have started doing all this pushing the gay agenda because this is going to help with LGBT rights all across the world. And I was like, what? A millennia-old religious ideology? Again, this is why I hate them so much, because they're ignorant. And they're not just ignorant. I mean, it's no crime to be ignorant. You shouldn't hate somebody for being ignorant. But where the hatred comes in is that the people that are ignorant insult us all the time. It's the toxic combination of being staggeringly ignorant and also extremely condescending and insulting. Because the people that talk about us call us ignorant and stupid. And then when you start questioning them about a subject that you're discussing, like for example, the religion of many pieces, it becomes quickly evident that they know less about it than fucking Diane Abbott knows about cardiovascular conditioning. They know nothing about it, but they call you ignorant. And this person was saying it's brilliant because now if Buzz Lightyear fucking tongue punches Woody's shit locker on a video, then therefore all of the people of the world are going to suddenly love gay people. And I was like, what? A 1,500-year, millennia-old religious ideology with billions of adherents who not only feel so strongly about their religious ideology, they're willing to pray 5 times a day and fast and grow a beard and dress in a certain way and live in a certain way and eschew pork. Not only that, but they believe, and this is why I'm talking about them being ignorant because they don't know any of this, that over a period of 13 years, the literal Holy Spirit, Rugal Quds, I believe is the Islamic term for it, dictated verbatim every single word in their holy book. They dictated it verbatim over a period of 13 years, and not a single word has ever been changed. This is the real crux of the issue that reformists within that faith are having, because the reformists say, yeah, you shouldn't take it literally, but the traditionalists say, why? Every single letter in that book was dictated by the Holy Spirit and written down over a period of 13 years. So you don't know what you're talking about. It's a big problem. And if you're such an idealistic fucking fool that you think billions of conservative religious zealots are going to suddenly go from, it says in this book that the Holy Spirit dictated that if you suck a bloke's fucking cock or hum the national anthem with his balls in your mouth, we should throw stones at you, they're going to suddenly go, fuck off, I just seen Buzz giving a handy to a sailor. It's not going to do anything. It's not going to do anything. And I'm not anti-LGBT. I don't get angry about this because I absolutely despise, illogically, a loosely knitted group that you've just put in a box and think they all think and act the same. Douglas Murray's gay. Got plenty of time for him. Dave Rubin happens to be gay. Got plenty of time for him. It's not about being anti-anybody. You're just liars. It's about being a realist and seeing the world with your eyes open, not being a fucking maniac and deluding yourself because you're a twat. And these people think stupid videos will undo millennia of fucking ideological conditioning. It's laughable. It's laughable. Anyway, that was a bit of a rant. It happens.
They are really smart. So that kind of sticks in your brain.
That is so helpful. I want to know, what would I do if I want to know someone's gender identity?
Ask them. I'm assuming. I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure this one out, do you? Captain, look at me. I'm the captain now.
Or pronouns.
The most important thing is do not pressure anybody into giving you their pronouns. Some people may be going through the process of discovery and they are not ready yet to tell you what their pronouns are, and that's okay.
So I should just lead with my pronouns and they may follow or not. And if they don't, then I can just continue to use gender neutral language.
Yes, exactly. Just to share something with you that happened the other day at a cookout I was at, we were talking about pronouns and somebody was disagreeing with how different people see themselves as different pronouns, and the argument was, if you look like a female, then it's she, her, because that's what's normal, and if you make me call you something else, then you're infringing on my rights. And I was really taken aback by the comment, and I really wasn't sure how to...
This story is fucking shit and far too long-winded, and that's coming from a man that rambles.
respond, and the only thing I could really think quickly to say was, it's not about you at all. And it's...
Did you notice the music change there? She went, it's not about you, and it went, oh. We're all going on the sunlit uplands, the glorious highway to fucking daisy chaining round the flight deck with one bloke up your ass and another man stuffing it in your fucking gob.
Mostly and ultimately about respect.
It is about respect. That's an important point to make. And I think you did the right thing. I think it's important to keep it short and simple.
Right, well, on that note, we'll keep this short and simple. Thanks for whoever told me to watch that. That was the biggest pile of fucking shite I've ever watched. And I'll tell you what, yeah, we should keep it short and simple, which means sailors should spend all of their training doing whatever discipline it is they need to do. If you're a radar operator, you should just keep your training short and simple and learn all about radars. And if you're a fucking gunner, you should learn all about loading the weapons. I don't know, is it artillery on a ship? Naval artillery? Them fucking big bastards that can drop a shell on your head from about 12 miles away. Yeah, you should spend all your time doing that. And if you're one of those embarked force badass morphos like the Royal Marines, you should spend all your training being about murdering the enemy with extreme prejudice. What you shouldn't spend your time doing is learning about pronouns from two fucking clowns in ridiculous LGBT fucking sweaters. I mean, really, really. And like I said, it's the Navy. Why is there no blokes in the background who look like sailors? You've got a Sikh, a lesbian, a fucking bird, a soul singer, and two pensioners. None of this. I mean, seriously, what a pile of bollocks. So yeah, thanks for sending me that. Love that. I love anything like that. Suck the will to live out of me. Right, brilliant. I think I'll call it a day there. What a load of bollocks. That does neatly tie up the stream though, doesn't it? Because that is just proving more of the same. I ranted about the death of the meritocracy at the beginning, talked about the police, and we've ended it with the military, who are doing the exact same thing. Pathetic. Pathetic. We better hope the Chinese don't get pissed off anytime soon, because you know who's going to be facing off against look at me, I am decaptain in his nice fucking LGBT sweater and the dump frumpy fucking bird sat next to him. You know who's going to be facing off against them on the battlefield? 10,000 angry Chinamen with bayonets fucking sharpened and a penchant for marching very, very quickly whilst doing fucking kung fu. That's what we're up against. We best hope that our drone pilots are at least switched on, sat on the fat asses in the fucking shake-ons, because these lot are about as much use as a nun's tits, and I'm very concerned we're going to get our asses kicked. Who cares? We had a good run. We had a good run, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I'll call it there. GB News starts in 5 minutes. Go and watch that. I will see you all tomorrow. Cheers.